Well, that's the thing, like, I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing.
Good evening and welcome to the Pocono Mountain School District Board Meeting for September 21st, 2022. For tonight's board meeting, community members are participating in person and may watch the meeting through a Zoom webinar where their audio and video have been disabled by default. Closed captioning is available for virtual attendees by clicking on the closed captioning button at the bottom of your screen. Board members are attending this meeting from the East High School Auditorium. This meeting was publicly advertised, inviting the public to attend in person or virtually by registering through a link available on the Pocono Mountain School District website. The advertisement stated that members of the public who wish to offer public comment on agenda items and non-agenda items may do so in person or by sending an email by 3:00 p.m. today to the advertised public comment email address. All public comments, whether submitted through email or in person, will be limited to 3 minutes. The board and/or administration will respond to them as deemed appropriate. When we reach section 5.1 and section 11, recognition of visitors for comments, we will read the public comments submitted by email first and then take public comment from those in attendance at the meeting. If a community member is making public comments, they are required to provide the following: first and last name, municipality of residence, contact of their public comment. The board meeting is being audio and video recorded. We will now call this meeting to order. Mr. Watto, can you lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Thank you, Mr. Watto. Mr. Clausa, can you record attendance, please?
Yes, attendance for this evening for September 21st, regular board meeting. Mr. Byrd,
Present.
Ms. Grape Garvey,
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Leonard.
Here.
Mrs. Lopez,
Here.
Mr. Reinheimer, Mr. Strunk,
Present.
Mr. Waddle, and Mrs. Pyzik.
Present.
All board members are present for this evening's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Clausa. And Mr. Byrd, thank you for the flag salute.
You're welcome back.
Okay, approval of board meeting agenda. I need a motion.
We'll move on, Bird.
Second, Anna Lopez.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Good evening, everyone. Before we hear from our superintendent, I would just like to read the following statement. At our August 17th board meeting, we had Pocono Elementary Center listed as topic for discussion and possible resolution on the agenda to discuss our current offer from Core 5 Industrial Partners in the amount of $8.1 million. During that meeting, we heard public comment from several community members along with Representative Madden. Your concerns were heard. At that time, the board felt it was best to motion to move our vote to a later date so we can give this item the thought and consideration it deserves and to see if any other offers would come in. On tonight's board agenda, we have again the topic of Pocono Elementary Center as a discussion item and possible resolution. Community members wishing to comment on this or any other agenda topic may do so during our first public comment period for agenda items. I would also like to remind everyone that this is a decision to possibly sell the building, not to determine its use. We have a fiduciary and financial responsibility to all of our taxpayers and to our school district when it comes to the sale of excess school properties. Any decision made by the board regarding Pocono Elementary Center would involve the sale of the property, not its use. Decisions on the future use of the property, if sold, would rest with municipalities and possibly the courts in accordance with their zoning rules and permitting process. process, not the school board. With that, I assure you that the board is not and has not taken any future decisions lately regarding the possible sale of Pocono Elementary Center. If you will be commenting during our public comment section, please keep your comments to 3 minutes and please be respectful. With that, we will now hear from Dr. Robeson with her superintendent report. Dr. Robeson?
Thank you, Mrs. Pysyk. I have a number of student and staff accomplishments that I would like to share. First of all, Swiftwater Elementary Center is proud to pay it forward. On Friday, September 16th, SEC hosted a staff dress down to raise funds for Autism Speaks. In addition to the school's donations, one of the SEC staff members, Mrs. Lisa Ambrose, led the way as she participated in the Autism Speaks walk on September 17th that was held in Bethlehem. Thank you to the SEC staff for participating in this event. Swiftwater Elementary Center is proud also to increase parent communication. During the 21-22 school year, SEC successfully piloted the Class Dojo initiative. This year, the school's entire staff is using this parental communication tool. The majority of SEC parents have downloaded the app and are actively communicating with our SEC staff members. Thank you to our SEC families for continuing to connect with the school team. West High School update. Congratulations go out to Evelyn Payne, who is an athletic trainer at the West High School, for winning the St. Luke's Advancement of Sports Medicine Award for 2022. Evelyn went above and beyond her primary responsibility to develop partnerships with Sanofi Pasteur, ShopRite of Mount Pocono, St. Luke's Community Health, and Pocono Mountain School District, working together to secure a $10,000 grant to create a food pantry in the high schools to increase food accessibility for our students and our school community. On September 9th, our West High School athletes visited Clear Run Intermediate School to assist with their Pride Carnival. Students played games, had snacks, and enjoyed time together learning about our district's Pride framework for school-wide positive behavioral interventions and supports. West High School wishes to invite the entire school community to the 13th anniversary of the Panther Pounce 5K and 1 mile run on Saturday, October 22nd. Funds raised at the event support a scholarship awarded annually to a graduating senior from the Pocono Mountain West High School in memory of Jeannie Palvica, who lost her battle with cancer in April of 2009. A portion of the funds are also being donated to the Think Big Foundation, which provides support to families of children who are diagnosed with cancer and treated at the Geisinger Janet Weiss Children's Hospital. Please contact Coach Palazzi at the West High School. West High School is going to be hosting a financial aid night for all of our district students and parents tomorrow evening, September 22nd at 6 p.m. Everyone in our school community is invited to attend to learn about the FAFSA forms, scholarships, work programs, and student loans. Clear Run Elementary Center has again met the state criteria for implementing school-wide positive behavior interventions and supports with fidelity in all 3 tiers. Congratulations to the Super Paul Committee, as well as the entire staff and faculty for their consistent diligence and hard work. This is an undertaking and accomplishment to be very proud of to receive. Congratulations to the following East High School students for being selected as College Board National Recognition Program awardees. These students earn the recognition because of their academic achievements in school and outstanding performance on the College Board exams. They've accomplished these milestones during an immensely demanding period of their high school career. We couldn't be more delighted and proud to share this great news. National Rural and Small Town Awards go to Adam Valderrama, Emily Farley, Jacob Pokrin, Caitlin Ingracia, Madison Rios, Owen Schaefer, and Serena Wu. The National Hispanic Recognition Award go to Valeria Sharang, Danielle Erlanger. Our Pocono Mountain East High School also met the criteria for implementing the school-wide behavior interventions with fidelity at Tier 1 during the 21-22 school year. Our East High School Show Choir, congratulations, they have been selected to perform at the 2022 PASA PSBA Student Showcase on Monday evening, October 31st. This year, the conference is going to be held at Kalahari Resorts and Conventions in the Poconos. So congratulations. Our West Junior High School, we have a Panther Pantry update. Approximately 33 families from our West Junior High School have been helped through the school's pantry already this school year. The pantry provides snacks and meal options as well as hygiene products to our students and families in need. Thank you to our staff, Mrs. Balmer, Ms. Grimaldi, and Mrs. Shappert for all their hard work in the pantry to provide for our families. Students and teachers at the West Junior High School have begun enjoying their outdoor classroom space. A huge shout out to Mr. Ryan Kresge and all of our building and grounds crew for getting the tables and setting them up for everyone to use and enjoy in our outdoor classroom. Toby Hanna Elementary Center, congratulations go out to Administrative Assistant Annie Messina, who received the Paradise Township Citizen of the Year Award for all of her volunteer work in the community. Clear Run Intermediate School, as part of its school-wide positive behavior, they kicked off their Pride celebration this year on September 9th. Students in each grade level enjoyed time outside, music, popcorn, slushies, activities as part of their activity program. Several of our students joined from West High School to be part of the Big Panthers program to help celebrate the day. On Thursday, September 8th, the band directors at Chris organized a Meet the Instruments night. We had over 100 of our families attend this event, which gave the students the opportunity to explore which instrument they would be most interested in playing for our school band. The students were encouraged to visit many of the stations possible to learn more about their favorite instruments, including the French horn, clarinet, flute, saxophone, and drums. The students and their families had a mini lesson on how to play each instrument. They were then entertained by a small group of our West High School band students as they were walking through the event. On Friday, September 16th, female athletes from our East and West High Schools attended a female empowerment presentation that was sponsored by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. They heard from nationally ranked weightlifter, former Division I athlete, and athletic trainer, Jillian Seaman Hall. Topics included how to develop a path to success, how to break barriers, why strength training and nutrition are so important, creating positive habits, building confidence, and how girls can live their best lives. 220 female athletes from grades 7 to 12 were able to attend this special presentation. Governor Wolf approved funding to allow the Pocono Mountain School District and other Pennsylvania schools participating in the school breakfast program to provide students with a free breakfast at school with no charge. The free breakfast program for all of our district students will begin on October 3rd, and it will continue through the 22-23 school year. This change is only applicable to the school breakfast program for this year and does not affect a student's eligibility status for free and reduced or paid lunches. And finally, this Friday, the district, we are going to be rolling out a new design for the main page of our Pocono Mountain School District website. The new template should improve customer navigation of the website and provide more opportunities to highlight our students, our staff, programs, and activities on our specific schools on their site. We ask that our website visitors be patient when accessing the website on Friday. The rollout of the completed new template could take place over a few hours, and things may look a little confusing as we activate new elements and deactivate the old components. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Robeson. MCTI, Mr. Strunk, anything to report?
I don't have a report for tonight. I will have one ready for the next meeting.
Thank you. Colonial Intermediate Unit 20, Ms. Grape Garvey, anything to report?
I don't have a report either. I will be attending their board meeting next Wednesday, and we'll have a report for the next meeting.
Wonderful. Anything for Pocono Mountain Education Association, Mr. Brogan?
Good evening. Is this on? No.
Is that thing not on?
This is good.
This better be a good
Just one.
report with all this trouble.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tom Brogan. I'm an 8th grade math teacher at the West Junior High School, along with president of the Pocono Mountain Education Association. I'm happy to report that our school year is off to a great start. Tonight, an exciting opportunity is on the agenda for our high school students. The dual enrollment agreement with Keystone College is up for renewal this evening. The courses are taught in-house by our Pocono Mountain staff, and the curriculums are matched up with undergraduate coursework. Our students are able to earn up to 30 undergraduate credits with Keystone College at a significant cost reduction. We should all be proud in our district that we have this opportunity for dual enrollment for all of our high school students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brogan. Pocono Mountain Education Support Personnel. Pennsylvania School Board Association, Ms. Leonard, anything to report?
Yes, the school PSBA Leadership Conference for us would be from October 31st to Wednesday, November 2nd, and this will be held at Kalahari.
Thank you, Ms. Leonard. Student Council, West High School, do we have anybody here? Welcome.
All right. Okay. Good evening. My name is Elena Espinal, and I'm the president of the Pocono Mountain West High School.
And my name is Angie LaCour, and I'm the vice president of Pocono Mountain West Student Council. It's wonderful to see you all here again as we settle into the new school year.
We are pleased and very excited to deliver our first official school board report.
This summer, 5 of our amazing student council members had the privilege to attend the 70th annual Pennsylvania Association of Student Councils Leadership Summer Camp. This year, the camp took place July 10th through the 13th, and campers were able to spend their time at the Susquehanna University campus to have meals, sleep in their very own dorm room, and learn all about what it means to be a leader. Delegates were able to participate in various seminars, which ranged from time management, group dynamics, and team building to officer and member roles, and so much more. They were also able to join committees, plan and host their very own talent show, and participate in team bonding and building exercises. Each delegate was given their own binder with tons of information that they can take back to their council and help improve our school. Our members are glad to say they were able to attend and are forever grateful for the people they met and the things that they learned.
This year, to welcome our students once again, Pocono Mountain West held its annual orientation for incoming freshmen, returning upperclassmen, and new students. We had 2 orientation sessions this year, one on August 16th for incoming freshmen and new students, and the other on August 18th for sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We welcomed each and every student and their families at the door, guiding them to the auditorium, where they met with our administrators and learned information they needed to know for the school year. Ms. Paul, our advisor, Angie, and I gave a speech encouraging involvement in co-curricular activities at West. Students were then able to get their schedules, tour the school and their classrooms, and attend the activity fair, where they learned more about how to get involved at West. In addition, students were able to take family photos with Prince the Panther and order this year's newest Panther wear. We're incredibly happy to say our orientation sessions were a huge success, and it was truly an honor to welcome our students into a great new school year.
Each year, Student Council helps plan and host our staff welcome back breakfast. We held ours on August 24th, and we're very happy to welcome our teachers and staff into the building for another school year. Fruit, bagels, coffee, and more were served, and we were glad to reconnect with the staff after the summer.
On August 26th, a few of our members, including myself, volunteered to help out with West High School's open house. This gave students the opportunity to check out their lockers, clear up any concerns about their schedules, and find classes if they weren't able to attend orientation. We were very glad to help out and do anything that we could for the upcoming school year.
On Thursday, September 1st, West held its very own in-school activity fair, in which students got to see the number of ways they can be involved at West. About 40 of our clubs and teams were set up in the cafeteria, allowing students to tour, ask questions, and pick up applications for anything that interested them. Students were sent down in groups to learn all about activities like Science Olympiad, Esports League, wrestling, basketball, speech and debate, Big Panther, Little Panther, the musical, National Art Honor Society, Student Council, and more. It was truly wonderful to see our students start to get more and more involved at West, one step at a time.
Meet the Teacher Night took place on September 15th. This gave the opportunity for parents to tour the school and meet their children's teachers. Student Council helped ring the bells, make important announcements, staffed the Pantherware and West cookbook tables, and helped parents find classrooms.
Starting at orientation, our Student Council started advertising for new positions for the coming year. This year, we had positions available for our secretary, historian, freshman and junior class representatives, and committee members on each of our 3 committees: community service, prom, and school events. We made flyers with a collective game show theme, advertised on social media, and used our greatest tool, word of mouth. We also had booths set up at orientation and the activity fair to hand out applications and deliver information about our current open positions. In total, we've collected about 90 applications and are excited to meet and introduce the new members into our council. We conducted interviews for the representative and officer positions and have already welcomed them into our council. Accepted committee members will know by Friday and will have their very first meeting next week.
That's all we have for our report this month. Thank you so much for listening.
Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next month and for many more to come.
Thank you, Elena and Angela. Well, excellent report. Thank you both. Up next, Pocono Mountain East. Do we have anybody here from SGA? Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Jones, and I currently hold the position of Senior Class President at Pocono Mountain East High School.
And I'm Emily Gonzalez, the current president of SGA at Pocono Mountain East.
It is with great pleasure that we get to present to you some of the accomplishments that its student government has seen so far this year. Over the summer, Hershey Lodge organized a Leadership Summit event for Minithon and an overnight fundraising event to raise awareness for childhood cancer. Our team was given the opportunity to attend and spend the day learning about different strategies, to expand our platform and better host our own Minithon. With the support of SEC and local businesses, we have raised a total of $83,415.83. We plan on hosting this event on May 19th, 2023, and aim to reach our goal of $15,000.
Within the first few weeks of school, we were very successful in hosting a multitude of events for our peers to partake in. To kick off these events, we started with our first general membership meeting on September 14th. Attendance was abundant and productivity was apparent. During this meeting, we broke into 4 committees: fundraising, social media, Minithon, and homecoming. We completed various tasks such as choosing our homecoming theme, disco, taking into account the popular vote of our student body. Themes for our Homecoming Spirit Week were also discussed. We plan opportunities for our homecoming court nominations, which are due Friday, as well as creating posters and other decorations for our campus-wide pep rally this Thursday, as long as weather permits. All of SGA's announcements are made to our Instagram account at PMSD, PMESGA, where students have easy access. Freshman officer applications were due today, and interviews will take place next week. We hope to engage the freshman class and allow them to vote on candidates starting September 30th.
We are very excited to bring back the tradition of campus-wide pep rally tomorrow afternoon in light of the bucket football game against Pleasant Valley on Friday. We have not been able to hold this event since 2019. We plan to recognize our sports teams and our marching band at the start of the rally. We will follow this up with a friendly competition between the schools where teachers and students will participate in a series of 5 events to win the mini bucket. We are hoping the rain goes away so we can see this event take place. Thursday night, we plan to host our first ever bonfire. Our band, cheerleaders, and football team will be there as we cheer them on to their game Friday night at Pleasant Valley. We will have yard games set up and snacks available for purchase. We are looking forward to a great time hanging out and supporting our East Cardinals. We held the tailgate last Friday before our game against East Stroudsburg South. At the tailgate, we had various yard games such as Cornhole and Giant Connect 4. Our peers came out to enjoy the afternoon before watching our varsity football team play hard. This night was also our PME alumni event where athletes from previous graduating years were able to visit and enjoy the game.
To kick off the fall season, we plan on having a part in the Barrett Township Parade, where we will get together at our next meeting and put together ideas and decorations to present our school to neighboring communities. Currently, we are planning for our annual Powder Puff game scheduled for November 3rd. We have not been able to hold this event since 2019. We are excited to see the rise in interest from the community. Permission slips are available and due October 21st. Our first practice is scheduled for October 31st.
We are excited to spend the rest of the year planning and making PME a place people want to be. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Excuse me, I have a question. I didn't get the amount of money for the counselor. How much was that?
For our mini-thon, we raised a total of $83,415.38.
Wow.
Outstanding.
83,000.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa and Emily. MCTI student report.
Good evening, school board members, administration, and guests. My name is Joan Hafler, and I'm a senior at East, a third-level health profession student at MCTI Skills USA Ambassador. MCTI students and staff are off to a great start. Molly Cosgrove, a Pocono Mountain West student, competed in the Nursery Landscape Eastern Expo in Massachusetts last week, and her team placed fourth. Over the next few weeks, the career and technical student organizations will be conducting their membership drives, fundraisers, and officer elections. Advisors and students are excited about the various events for this school year. Our health professions 11th and 12th graders are preparing for the upcoming shadowing junior volunteer program at St. Luke's Hospital. An anticipated start time is early October. On Thursday, September 29th, MCTI will be having its occupational advisory committee meeting. Advisory committees are an important link between the career and technical education program and business and industry. After our OAC meeting, MCTI will be having their 50th anniversary celebration. We hope board and administration can attend. It has been a pleasure presenting MCTI for the past 3 years. At this time, I would like to introduce Brandon Poveromo from West, who will be the MCTI ambassador. This concludes my report.
Thank you. An executive session was held prior to this meeting to discuss personnel and possible litigation. Instructional report, Dr. Sweeney.
Thank you. Good evening. We're pleased to have Dr. DeLay, who is our Director of Health and Physical Education, Guidance and Nursing Services, along with Nicole Metzger, who was one of our East High School guidance counselors, and they will be highlighting Act 158, the Pathways to Graduation Act, which will be in effect for this school year, the 22-23 school year and the senior class. Dr. DeLay.
Thank you, Dr. Sweeney. Let's hope that this works. Oh, there we are. Act 158 is Pathways to Graduation. Well, that didn't happen. Hold on a second here. What's going on? And yeah, it doesn't seem to be working for me. Okay. Act 158, it was signed into law by Governor Wolf in 2018. However, COVID delayed the enactment of Act 158, in which this provides alternative to the attaining proficiency on the 3 end-of-year courses for the Keystone exams, which are Algebra 1, Literature, and biology. So at this point, our students need to achieve both Pocono Mountain graduation requirements and Act 51 graduation requirements. The Keystone exams will continue on a statewide basis, and Pennsylvania used those to comply with accountability for the requirements set forth by the federal government in Every Student Succeed Act ESSA. Although students will no longer be required to achieve proficiency on the Keystones, these folks will still need, the students will still need to take the Keystone exam for purposes of federal accountability and as a Pocono Mountain School District graduation requirement. Yeah, this is not doing it for me. Thank you. So this is a little hard to see. However, there are 5 pathways to graduation. The top Keystone proficiency pathway, it says numeric and non-numeric. So individuals that are proficient or advanced in Algebra 1, biology, and literature, they're automatically through and have met the pathways to graduation requirement. The Keystone composite pathway, if you look at that, there, and it's a little difficult to see up there, at least one Keystone exam scale to score of 1,500 or greater, and no Keystone exam score under below basic, and for 3 scores, a composite score of 4452 or greater, or a Keystone exam composite 2 scores of 2939 or greater. There is a non-numeric score that was issued in the 1920 school year because of COVID. So every student received a proficient during that school year. Therefore, they have the 2 exam composite score available. If students are not successful in either the composite or proficiency pathways, there are 3 additional routes that those students can take. The CTE concentrator is career and technical education, and we'll look at the artifacts on the next slide. An alternative assessment, or the evidence-based pathways. And again, if you look, the CTE concentrator, the industry-based competency, if they achieve proficiency or a good score on the NOCTI exam, they're good to go. That would be their artifact. In the alternative assessments, I'm not going to read through each one, but there are a variety of ways for students now to achieve through those alternative assessments a pathway to graduation instead of a proficiency on all the 3 exams. The evidence-based pathway, this has 2 parts. In the first section, individuals need to choose, I think it's 1 from section 1 and 2 from section 2. So students have a multitude of ways now to graduate according to the pathway criteria released by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. In conclusion, students have the option to demonstrate post-secondary preparedness through 1 of 4, actually 5 additional pathways that fully illustrate college, career, and community readiness. Administrators, school districts, and school counselors are working to identify the needs of the alternative pathways for graduation. Our counselors and building principals have been working since the Keystone exams were released on each individual student, since the state did not yet release a tracking chart or form for us to use. So they're using Excel spreadsheets in order to track each individual student to make sure that each student meets the criteria. All information relevant to Act 158 pathways can be found on the district website. I did include the link. It is under academic graduation pathways, and all this information plus additional information is identified there. We did send a parent letter home in June. We continue to push forward in making sure that each child in the current senior class meets those criteria for both Pocono Mountain School District and the Pennsylvania Department of Education. So, where's Nicole? Did she run away? Where is she? Nicole's just going to talk to you for a minute or 2 about the process that they went through to look at students as far as who met the criteria and who didn't meet the criteria.
Sorry, I snuck behind you.
I know.
I know, I'm so sorry. Good evening, I'm Nicole Mesker. I'm one of the school counselors at the Pocono Mountain East High School. What we have been doing, all of our counselors have been meeting with our seniors individually to discuss their graduation, their future plans, and what way we're going to go through our pathways for graduation. Our amazing administrative team and special ed has put together this amazing spreadsheet that makes our lives a lot easier by going through each senior individually and placing them on an Excel sheet that gives us whether they're proficient meeting all the Keystone standards or whether they're proficient with some and have to find another pathway. So as we were meeting with them individually and discussing college plans, we are also meeting with them to discuss their pathway. Some of them are opting to do the ACT and SAT, which is coming up in October and November. We have a whole bunch of students that are also taking the ASVAB. That is given October 18th at our school. So we're hoping that through that process, we're giving them a couple different options to meet their graduation pathway. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I see this pathway to graduation, correct?
Correct.
Is this also a pathway for kids to go to college?
This is
Grade school?
They can, a lot of the students, when we are meeting with them, we're discussing their pathways through the state that requires them to be proficient in one of the pathways. So some of them are opting to take the SAT and ACT because they are planning on going to a four-year school. So a lot of them are preparing for their post-secondary education through taking those exams. We do have some that are doing military as well that are planning to enlist, and they are taking the ASVAB to continue through. So it is preparing them for that next step in their education if they choose to go to a 2-year, 4-year, or enlist or go into the workforce. Welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
And leading into Mrs. Buffington's presentation with Mr. Jones and Mrs. Tolino on AP courses, part of a pathway could be taking the AP course and scoring that 3 or above as well. So we thought it would be good to tie in some data and some information pertaining to the courses that we offer in advanced placement, as well as the successes and data that we have to share regarding our students that are taking those advanced placement courses. So Mrs. Buffington, Mr. Jones, and Mrs. Tolino will be doing this presentation.
Good evening. What is the AP program? The AP program is the advanced placement program that offers college level courses and exams that students can take in a high school. Although options vary, courses are available to students in grades 9 through 12. Next slide, please. What is the purpose of an AP course? AP courses enable students to learn advanced skills while being eligible to earn college credits. It's important to note that all of the AP courses that we offer at both East and West High School. Students can earn credits for graduation by completing these courses. Students can also earn college credits by scoring an appropriate score on the AP exam at the end of the year. Now, each college does vary, so there are different scores that students need to obtain. So contingent upon whatever the college requirements are, that's how the students would determine whether or not their AP score would be high enough to earn those college credits. Next slide, please. Some of the courses we offer are in art. There are AP Studio Art courses that are two-dimensional design. There's an AP Studio Art course that's a 3D design. We also offer AP Art History and AP Drawing. In the area of computer science, we have AP Computer Science Principles. We also have AP Computer Science, which is usually referred to as our Java course. Music also offers AP Music Theory. The different courses that we offer in science and mathematics are AP Biology, AP Chemistry, AP Physics, AP Calculus AB, AP Calculus BC, and AP Statistics. And a lot of those you can see, if we go back to the AP Biology ones, those are obviously you could get, instead of taking the biology class, you could take the AP Biology. Next slide, please. In the area of social studies, we offer AP Human Geography. That is a course that's available to our 9th grade students. AP US History, AP European History, AP World History, and AP Psychology. In the area of world language and ELA, we offer 3 languages. So we offer an AP French, German, and Spanish. And in ELA, we offer the AP Language and Composition and also the AP Literature and Composition. The next thing we're going to discuss is our AP Capstone program. There are 2 AP courses that are part of the Capstone program. They're AP Seminar and AP Research. Those are our newest courses offered at both the East and West High School. And I will have Mr. Michael Jones, the principal of West High School. You got president, the principal of West High School, to explain our Capstone program.
AP Seminar and AP Research are different than the other courses that are mentioned, whereas all the other ones go into a particular content area. These 2 don't. These 2 are more generic. They don't go through a specific subject area. Instead, they focus on some skills that are useful to kids. Like we keep going back to soft skills. These are soft skills that were identified by the College Board that they thought would be useful for students going into college. What's unique about these 2 courses is that if students complete these 2 courses and meet other requirements that go as well, they're eligible to earn an AP Capstone diploma. It's a unique diploma. It's a unique accreditation or accolade that they get on top of their on top of their high school diploma, Pocono Mountain diploma. The conditions for those are that if you earn a 3 or higher on your AP Seminar and AP Research exam, and in addition to that, you earn a 3 or higher on 4 additional AP exams, you get the AP Capstone diploma. If you only score the 3 or higher on the AP Research and AP Seminar courses, that's still an accomplishment in itself, and that's a big deal. So students that do that would receive a certificate from College Board recognizing them for having completed those 2 courses. Switching off of that, and let me pause on that. We've been offering that program at East and West High School for a short number of years now, but the numbers in that program are increasing. We've seen some growth in there, and we're hoping to keep the momentum going on that as we keep moving forward. What you have listed up here now is just the overall enrollment from East and West High Schools in each of those subject areas that Ms. Buffington had mentioned earlier. So right now, seats that are occupied in our AP Art courses are 46. In our Computer Science AP courses, 44. ELA, 146 course seats are being taken. In that capstone program I described, there are 34 students, East and West High School, potentially being eligible for that AP capstone diploma within 2 years. Math 75, music 3, science 92, social studies 190 students, and world language has 6 students taking an AP course as of now. So for total, East and West High School, potentially 636 students would be taking there would be 636 AP courses being taken at the end of the school year, with students potentially earning college credit through this program.
All right, and this gets me really excited because this is how our students have performed. So we have the AP Scholar Awards. The first one is being an AP Scholar. It's granted to students who receive a 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. And we actually had 28 students do that last year, which is exciting. The next one is the AP Scholar with Honor. In order to meet those standards, they have to score a 3.25 on all their AP exams that they take, and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of those exams. And we had 14 students do that last year. And then our AP Scholar with Distinction, which is very difficult. They have to receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all the AP exams that they take, and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more AP exams. And we have 5 students do that last year. So looking at what all of our students accomplished last year, especially during a COVID year again, we're very proud of the fact that they were achieving high levels of success with college level work. So the AP courses give our kids the opportunity to complete that really high level work. And if you take a look at the kids and how they did last year, the Pocono Mountain School District students earned credit for college level courses. That's the important part there, by scoring 3 or higher on 230 AP exams that our kids took. So we are very, very proud of their accomplishments. These AP classes are difficult. They put a lot of extra time into them. And we're very proud of the AP program that we offer here for our students. Thank you.
I have a question. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I mean, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I've noticed in the beginning, I think you stated that in 9th through 12th, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how many college credits can a student receive in one single year? 1, 2, 3?
Depends on how many AP courses they take. We have some students who are taking 4 or 5. Some do independent study, so they can take more than that. So they
So they
really
get up
work hard.
5, maybe 6 college credits.
Absolutely. Yes. And the cyber program also offers some of those some of the AP courses. So if we can't fit it into their schedule, either at West High School or East High School, they're allowed to take their courses in our building. And then also on top of that, do an AP course through the cyber program, which is
Okay, so when a student, let's say a student started in 9th grade, he or she could go from the 9th through the 12th taking AP courses. By the time they are ready to graduate high school, they could have almost 1.5 to 2 years of college?
Yes.
Okay.
And that really helps as a parent when you're looking at those tuition costs. It's a fabulous bonus for our kids and their families.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Okay, Ms. Frable, recognition of visitors. Please, how many emails do we have?
We received 9.
Okay, we are going to limit them to 3 minutes. We have to be fair to the people in the audience and the emails too, so.
Okay, if I don't see the clock pass, just gavel me and I'll move on.
I will love to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The first one is Salvatore Trinacosta, Readers, Jackson Township. Good evening. I am a resident of Readers in Jackson Township. I moved here in 2005 and chose this location for the trees, the neighbors, and most importantly, the peace and the quiet this township provides. If you look around this Commonwealth, you see farmland disappearing by the hundreds of acres for warehousing and asphalt parking lots for cars and tractor trailers. Why do we need another distribution center with 55% of the more than 70 million square feet of space sits unused around the Commonwealth of PA? Just drove down Route 33. What was once lush green farmland is now a wall of white distribution centers. This is not why we moved to the location we are currently in. When is enough enough? This proposed Core 5 plan does not generate tax revenue for 25 or 30 years with tax rate. Who picks up the services for this proposal? We, the taxpayer. That's who. I have driven down Golden Slipper when tractor trailers are driving on the road and must pull over to the right to avoid getting hit as they go around the curves by 2/3 of the road. This is just occasionally, imagine if you will, this is an everyday occurrence. It's accidents waiting to happen unless the roads are widened. At whose expense? The taxpayers? I think not. So I am a concerned citizen and voicing my objection to the Core 5 proposal and in favor of a community center for which the benefits to our community outweigh the Core 5 use of said property. Thank you. Mary McIsaac, Jackson Township. I wish to make it known that I'm very vehemently opposed to selling Pocono Township to Core 5. They have blatant disregard for our environment, our neighborhoods, and our community. I realize they offered an outrageous amount of money to purchase PEC, but that's because they are ruthless. Their pockets are deep and they will go to any lengths to meet their goals. Instead, please consider selling PEC to Pocono Township. They have outgrown their current facilities along with meeting the needs of the residents' community. Allowing Pocono Township to purchase PEC will enable them to address their shortfalls by providing more space for the police department and public works while providing a much needed community center, more sports fields, emergency shelter, and a much larger library. It's a perfect fit. Thank you. Or please consider our community and our needs over Core 5. Thank you for listening. Ann Foster Cresco. I'm submitting my comments in support of the sale of the Pocono Elementary Center property to Pocono Township for use as a community and recreation center. I'm in strong opposition of the sale of this property to any party interested in development of this land for commercial or industrial purposes. My reasons are as followed. While being mindful of taxpayer dollars, sale to the highest bidder does not necessarily equate to highest value for the citizens of the school district, nor the largest tax benefit. A report by the Trust of Public Land illustrates that parks and open space generate increased property tax revenue and yield a better return on the investment than development. Having a protected space nearby has been proved to increase property value and hence property tax revenue generated in the community. There are the hidden costs associated with development that are rarely considered and even more rarely discussed. The increased cost of the infrastructure maintenance, including wear and tear on roadways, impacts of increased stormwater runoff,
warming of water entering our aquifers and streams, carrying along with it any pollutants from impermeable surfaces leading to impaired drinking water, loss of green space, and decreased carbon. Oh boy, sequestration, I think is the word, all costs, though not immediately evident, that are evidently borne on the shareholders of, or on the shoulders of we taxpayers and not the developed business itself. We pay the cost tomorrow for development today. For over 100 years, the Poconos have become branded as the outdoor capital of the Northeast, with visitors and tourists coming to enjoy our clean air, forested land, and pristine rivers and streams. All of these visitors bring huge economic benefit to our area, supporting businesses, resorts, restaurants, and shops of all kinds, and thus generating huge tax revenue for our region and for our schools. What will happen when tourists begin to talk of highways lined with acres of warehouses instead of acres and trees in the outdoors? What happens when the landscape of the Poconos begin to mimic that of the urban areas they are visiting from? Visits to the area will decrease, and along with it, the tax revenue and economic benefits brought by the tourism, recreation, and outdoor industries. I ask you not to be short-sighted and focus not only on today, but instead to have the wisdom and foresight to consider long-term economic harm to our area should this trend of overdevelopment continue. We are at a point where every single decision matters. The quality of life of the residents of our school district cannot be measured in revenue alone and is an important factor to consider. Yours is a society or a socially responsible decision to make as much, if not more, than a financial one. If you want Pocono Township to remain a desirable and viable place for the families to live, many with children attending PMSD, it's critical this property be sold to Pocono Township to support the residents of the community. Brian Wilkins, East Stroudsburg. As a longtime resident and taxpayer to the Pocono Mountain School District, I would like to respectfully ask that you sell Pocono Elementary Center to Pocono Township at the appraised value. Thank you. Brenda Wilkins, East Stroudsburg. As a lifetime resident and taxpayer to the Pocono Mountain School District, I would like to respectfully ask that you sell Pocono Elementary Center to Pocono Township at the appraised value. Thank you. April Anderson, Canadensis. Hello, Cardinal Nation. Asking the board to please review this sale, our infrastructure, at traffic safety of our Cardinal children, at keeping Pocono and environment to community standards. My question is, does this benefit our community? Does this benefit our kids? Does monetary always outweigh teaching our children to stand for the cash flow? Let's show our students our environment and our economy and why we are at it. Take a poll in school and give our future generation a chance to express their feelings and be part of the process. We have well water here in the Poconos. Every time we build large infrastructures, impacts our roads and water. Thank you for listening to your community. Cardinal Proud Mom. Abby Jones Stroudsburg. Oh, so I'll bypass yours then. Okay, thank you. Jody Schick Gorman, Barrett Township. While I cannot attend the meeting, I want to take a moment to voice my opinion regarding the potential purchase of former school property in Pocono Township to be converted into warehouses. I strongly oppose this for various reasons, including our road system infrastructure being inadequate for the demands it already has placed on it. I understand that there is a proposal for the community for a community center. Would that not be a better fit for the community that has grown at such a booming rate? I appreciate your consideration of this taxpayer's opinion. And this is the final one. Trey Hoyampa, Jackson Township. Good evening. My name is Trey Hoyampa, and my family and I live right down the road from Pocono Elementary Center. It is a beautiful piece of property. So nice, in fact, that the grounds were used to frame a number of interesting sculptures. As an artist, this especially warms my heart. Then we heard about warehouses wanting to move in, not
just trying to buy property, but to get local tax breaks in the process. We already have more than our share of warehouses and exchange stations. These roads can barely make the winter without getting a pothole. Now they're supposed to be able to manage semi-truck traffic. And if the solution would be to make the roads bigger, wider, stronger, well, that's tax money right there. Tax money from citizens and not the warehouses or resorts. But there's way more to it than clogged roads and potholes. Our citizens deserve to have the ability to climb the ladder for a better life rather than being restricted to lower paying jobs. We want to be able to do more than just provide for our families. We want to thrive. I mean, people who work in the Pocono resorts cannot afford the going price for one night. This consideration alone would literally change our community. As such, no tourist is coming to visit warehouses. No hardworking people will be able to advance to the thriving levels unless they move out of the area. Do we really want that? Do we really think that our kids are going to stick around and live here? Many of our young will leave and not come back. Why would they? There's nothing for them here. Please don't make this about money. Make it something more, something money can't buy. We are talking about the well-being of our community after all. It is within your power to effectively change the future picture of the Poconos. You have the ability and the facility to help us be who we aspire to be. There's no doubt that we can work together to find a solution that uplifts us, that gives a sense of the Pocono pride. Let's make our corner of the world a better place to be so that maybe tourists come here for our community rather than the resorts. Please consider something better than warehouses and exchange stations. This could change everything. Thank you for your consideration and time. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Frable.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience for public comment, agenda items?
You were first. I remember you signing up. You were first.
Oh, there was a sign up?
Yeah, there was, you'll be able to speak, but the folks who signed up.
Okay, that's what.
Would you please just get in line?
Please remember to state your name and your address and limit the comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Doug Ems. I live at 206 Tumbleweed Drive, right next to the school. I do not want to see the school destroyed. I watch parents come down, walk with their kids, watch them, train them on the bicycles. People comes back, there's a nice road. People come back, teach their kids how to drive their cars. And you're giving up something possible to be sold to a trucking company, which I just lost my job in Novia Trucking in front of the school. Now, we don't need no more trucking companies here. I'm a retired truck driver, so I know what it's all about. But it's up to you board members to think of the people who lived there the whole life like me, some of our neighbors here. But, you know, you got to look at the fact, where's our life going with all these truck drivers coming in? We got more and more plants going up there empty. You go down 33, there's a dozen plants empty. You go up to Blakesley, dozen plants empty. So why do we need more? Why don't you let the people enjoy their life around? Excuse me, my voice gets a little messed up. But I just want you to look at the fact. Where's the people coming and going? You're going to take our life away when we have some freedom to walk around out of school, the freedom to teach our kids how to drive the car, go up to a baseball. This is all disappearing. I remember when I was a kid playing baseball with Walmart in East Stroudsburg, the church lakes, everything gone. There's no more fields for us to play on. There is a field there for us to play on, but we're losing everything in this area. Just look at what's happening in this whole town. Well, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
My name is Rebecca Smith, and I'm a Pocono Township taxpaying resident of more than 20 years. I own my home on Johns Lane, which is in direct path of the destruction of the Core 5 project. Any decision made here is going to affect my home. I have a well and I have septic. I strongly hope that you sincerely consider the sale of this property and keep it within our township, where they care about us residents, our community, and what goes on. Core 5 has offered us nothing. They will not upgrade, maintain our roadways, our bridges, our homes, our wells, our waters, and our beauty and the nature that surrounds us. They're out for complete destruction. I understand that they have offered an enormous amount of money. But where does the greed end? I'm 100% for the sale of this property to Pocono Township, where it should remain and it belongs. And please keep in mind, not all money is good money.
Good evening. My name is Terry Van Bretsen Martin. I'm from Chestnut Hill Township in Effort. I'm an underdog advocate, so I work throughout the county. Would like to tell you about my son, Timothy. Timothy was born autistic. When he was 5, he could not speak. His prognosis was poor. I homeschooled him. He was then evaluated after he got his homeschool certificate by Burnley Workshop, who referred him to Allied Rehab in Scranton. Allied Scranton arranged for Timothy to get a job at Tobyhanna Army Depot as an independent contractor. And Timothy went to work every day. After 6 years, last spring, they hired Timothy as a civilian employee. He has excellent insurance. He makes an excellent wage. Sometimes our fiduciary duty and our role as a school is not to be a college or not to be a food pantry, and especially not to be parents. I took my role as a parent because Timmy wasn't going anywhere. And today I can say that he is okay. And when I pass away, I know he'll be all right. Infrastructure needs to come first. That's one thing we're lacking in this county. Roads, central sewer, water. Pocono Township has outgrown its facilities. Now, I understand your fiduciary responsibility as to getting income for the school. But we have to look at things, in my opinion, as regional thinking, not just our little part of the world. And I promise you, if the warehouses touch your part of the world, I'm going to be there. And so is the team of people that I work with. You're already very familiar with corporate tax abatements from CBK, Camelback, Great Wolf. You have an opportunity to stand for your community. The collateral damage to this community is going to be great. Pocono Township needs that property, and I believe that's the highest use. Another thing that I would like to mention, and I don't want to mention this, but I have to say, I will calmly ask Jackie Leonard to abstain from the vote tonight because I have her advertisement, marketing warehouse investment property for sale. Looking to move your business to the Poconos, need a large warehouse space? Call Jackie. I think that's a conflict of interest and an ethics problem. I would respectfully ask her to abstain. And I would like to give this to whoever would put this in the file. Thank you.
I've been asked to make a comment on that. That, legally, Ms. Leonard does not have to abstain unless this is her deal and she gets some financial remuneration out of it. The fact that she also is, in a realty business and that she deals with other, commercial properties, it's not really a legal reason for her to abstain. So just so you understand that. Okay. Dane recuses.
The warehouse that Ms. Leonard has for sale is an already existing building and warehouse, so it doesn't impact the purchase of PEC or the discussion of it. Okay, thank you. Go on.
Thank you. My name is Abby Jones and I am a resident of Jackson Township. Many of you know me as an environmental attorney for Penn Future, a statewide environmental organization, but I'm here tonight as a Pocono Mountain School District resident and a mother of a first grader. I want to thank you first to the Pocono Township for opening the door to this opportunity, and thank you to the board for seriously considering it. I urge the school board to do the following regarding the Pocono Elementary Center property: reject the sale to Core 5, reject the resolution proposed at the August 17th, 2022 board meeting, consider the negotiations with Pocono Township, and draft and approve a new resolution to sell the property to Pocono Township for municipal and community use. The school board has discretion on how and to whom it sells property. The Pocono policy manual contains no guidance or restrictions on how real property may be disposed of. And so the school board has discretion in these matters, especially as a fiduciary. In applying this discretion, the board should prioritize holistic community benefits. Should the township purchase the property at issue, it would be utilized for myriad community benefits, including a community center, a library, and a more accessible township municipal building. These uses would provide social and educational outlets for residents of Pocono Mountain School District, including children and families, and would further the principle of the school board, including to prepare all students for tomorrow's challenges and opportunities, to promote public education as a keystone of democracy, and to engage in the community by seeking input, building support networks, and generating action. Now, I've submitted a letter containing all of my statements tonight, and I request that be entered into the record. But in short, we're going to hear from all these people tonight telling you of the problems with Core 5 and warehouses. Increased traffic that will clog roadways that utilize our buses utilize to transport students. There's air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, light pollution. There is a decrease in property values surrounding residences and the relocation of families outside of the district because of these new uses. This will have a negative impact to the taxpayers of the school district. And these are very real impacts that we know are happening to communities across Pennsylvania. Just look at the Lehigh Valley. Respectively, the school board must not perpetuate these harms to its residents, students, teachers, and staff. Now, it may be true that the township is limited to the appraised value of the property, whereas Core 5 have offered $8 million for it. But the board must look beyond dollar signs and must prioritize the health, safety, and general welfare of the community it serves. I urge you, therefore, to reject the Core 5 proposal and to open up negotiations with Pocono Township. I implore you to do this to put community above money. This is appropriately within your fiduciary duties. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing us to speak to you in your decision-making process. I do not envy you. You've been drawn into a situation that is very, very alive in the community. But I speak to you in your decision-making. It's about money. It's about opportunity. You're on this board because you're such a vital part of the community. Across this country, school boards, educators, schools are under severe attack. We don't know what's going to happen, but you are entrusted with our most precious possession, our children. I've been a member of Pocono Township. 2 of my children graduated from this school. My grandchildren are now going to this school. I live right off the parking lot of the school that's under question. But I'd like to make a parallel to your position. We trust you. Many of us voted for you. We want you to make a decision with us. What would you want? What would the golden rule be? What would you want for your children? What do you want for our children? A great team and a member of a great team, in order to make a great decision, will oftentimes sacrifice his own salary in order to get players to come on that team. One of the greatest centers ever made a statement, went into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He says, I don't watch for where the ball is. I watch for where the ball is going to go. As a township, where have we come from? Where are we? You have the opportunity to join in the community and make a decision. This is your time that once you've moved on, people will say they were great. It was about the community. I live in Pocono Township because I want to. But do you know where the property lines are? I don't want to tell you what is bad or good. These people are business people. The capitalistic, capitalism is going to work. But you have the opportunity to join us. And we will applaud you. We will be your cheerleaders. You may be the sixth man on the team, but you can go in the Hall of Fame with your decision because that was why you were voted in, because of experience. Your fearlessness to make the right decisions. And we applaud you for joining us in the community to spare Pocono Township. Thank you very much.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Can you please state your name for the record?
Say it or spell it.
Well, I don't know. Say it first. I'll let you know if we have to spell it.
Gill, G-I-L, like a fish.
And your last name?
Stallard, S-T-A-L-L-A-R-D.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Lisa Buckholz from Jackson County. I'm the president of the Pocono Regional Citizens Group. And we're a grassroots movement. And we actually formed when my good friend Cindy Engelmeyer showed up at my doorstep, just telling me that Core 5 was going to build a warehouse on Staten Road. And it led to us uncovering that they already had their foothold on Warner, and they were then seeking this school as another property, which would be a lot of acreage that they would have. I just want to say that thank you to those on the board that have attended meetings for us, because I truly believe that you did show up to educate yourselves as to what was going on. And it is much appreciated. I know a lot of the people here, when they saw you, were happy. I hope that doesn't end there. I hope that you do end up standing up for your community. Because I saw a little girl outside with a sign about stop warehouses. I think her mom said she's in the first grade. And we tell these kids all the time. We tell them about, ethics and morals, and we try to educate them. But you know what's more important is to show them that money isn't everything. Sometimes standing up for something is more important. And I do believe that the kids today need heroes, because, you look on the news, you see it all the time. It's, people that are doing the wrong thing get most of the attention. And I just really firmly believe, us as taxpayers are saying, we want to keep this in the community, this building. We want to keep it as a community center. We want it to be part of our community and not overtaken by a warehouse. And I thank you for your time and for giving us all an opportunity to express our feelings. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
Name is Larry Sedin. If you take note of what's going on here, the general consensus is about money. There are two types of people in this world. One who love money and money controls them, and one who controls money. They don't love money. They use money for the betterment of their community. I am appealing to the school board here. If there is such one that who knows how to control money and don't love money, make a decision to keep this community the way it is. I moved up here 27 years ago. My school tax started at $1,250. Right now, I'm double plus in my school taxes. These businesses have psychologists on the staff who tells them how to approach you guys to gain access into our community. One of the best lines they have to sell to you guys is, oh, you guys get tax breaks, you guys get tax money, tax dollars because we create employment. How long does that last? And what happened to our school taxes? It's still going up. So please don't swallow that lies from these businesses whose only goal is money. I am appealing to those on the school board here who was put by God to help our children grow up in a godly fashion. It is teaching them math, English, and the way of life called social getting along with each other. So please, if there's any of you who is controlled by money, I'm going to ask you to think twice and sell this place to Pocono Township to keep the sanity of the residents of this community. When I came up here, it was a beautiful place. I'm asking you guys who live in this community to consider that for your children and grandchildren coming behind you. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Richard Wolobinski, and I'm here on behalf of Pocono Township this evening as president of the Pocono Township Board of Commissioners. I'm also joined by our township solicitor, Leo DeVito, and our township manager, Taylor Munoz. Pocono Township is here regarding the potential sale of the Pocono Elementary Center property and would like to discuss its potential purchase for township needs with the approval of the board. I want to first be clear that Pocono Township's interest in this property did not begin in the last few weeks or even the last couple of years. The township first approached the school district about 5 years ago to inquire about its purchase as a possible site for a new municipal complex and community center. Pocono Township has undergone multiple architectural feasibility studies regarding the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the ailing township facilities that were last renovated over 30 years ago, and which were constructed at a time when the township's needs were a fraction of what they are today. 5 years ago, we looked at Old Northampton Community College, the property across from Abeloff Nissan, and the Pocono Elementary Center as possible locations for a township municipal complex. At that time, we were told that PEC was not for sale, at least partially due to the district's contemplating potential enrollment increases in the future. Fast forward to today, we recently became aware that the district is entertaining an offer for PEC, and Pocono Township remains interested in the property. The only request today is that should the board of directors agree, we would like the opportunity to make an offer on the property. As a municipal government, we would first need to start by conducting a fresh appraisal performed by a mutual agreed upon appraiser. The township would then be better able to construct an offer for the district's consideration. Pocono Township would bear the full cost of the appraisal. However, I'm sure you can understand that we would not be inclined to incur the cost unless the board authorizes the due diligence to proceed. Should Pocono Township acquire the PEC property, our priority would be to ensure it continues to serve as an asset for local community, whether as a location for township operations, a community center, recreational opportunities, and other community service agencies. Pocono Township is committed in using this property for municipal purposes. If the school district is amenable to the township acquiring the property, the township is willing to agree to provisions that in the event the township determines it would not be using the building for municipal purpose, the school district would be given the first opportunity to reacquire this property. Pocono Township has agreed to similar provisions in acquisitions of other property.
I'm sorry, the 3 minutes are up. And I do have to be fair to everybody
I
else.
just want to say thank you to the board and thank you very much. I have one sentence to say.
You know what? Okay, it's okay. Go ahead. One more
I
sentence.
just
You're
wanted to
fine,
say
Rich.
thank you for your consideration. We look forward to further discussing Pocono Township's request. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Eric Labashowski, Pocono Township property owner and taxpayer for 25 years. Thank you for letting me speak tonight and all these other people speak tonight. The sole purpose of Core 5 and buying this property is to make money. Core 5 does not care about the people they will affect. They don't care about the environment they will destroy. They don't care about the community they will ruin. Core 5 only cares about making a profit. The price they are offering can only be considered a bribe and the cost of doing business in order to make a profit. Thank you for listening to me tonight.
Good evening, and I want to thank you guys for listening to all of us. My name is Jesse Rambo, kind of like the movie. I'm a Jackson Township resident, been there for about 20 years, so I pay taxes to the school. Madam President, when you said that you only are looking at a fiduciary responsibility, I respectfully submit that you actually have another responsibility. That is, will the sale of this property have an impact on your school operations? Now, just imagine a 1 million square foot warehouse less than 5 miles from here. Think what that's going to do to your school operations. You're talking about somewhere between 250 and maybe 1,000 18-wheelers a day on 611, 715, Warner Road and Stafford Road. What's that going to do to your school buses? If you think your kids are not going to get home before 8 o'clock at night, I think you're going to be sadly mistaken, because they're not going to have room on these roads. So just think about how this is going to impact your operations. You do have a fiduciary responsibility. You also have a community social responsibility. I don't care how you underscore that, but you really do. Think about how it's going to impact your operations. Try to get your kids in here for a football game on Friday night with 500 18-wheelers down 611. Good luck. Anyway, thanks for entertaining all of us tonight. I don't envy you, like Gil said. I don't think anybody here envies you your decision. I just hope you make the right one. Give it to Pocono Township. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Guy Delight and I live at 136 Ruby Lane. I inherited 2 handicapped brother-in-laws, and I really hope you take into consideration, because I'm sure this warehouse is not going to be off 20 feet of you guys' back property line, but it's going to be off of mine. And I have enough battle with what I'm dealing with right now. And I just want to let you know money isn't everything. You know what I mean? And I would like to see PEC stay in the Pocono Township, because maybe it would help my handicapped brothers out with some community stuff. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is George Barudi, Pocono Township resident and a school taxpayer. But today I stand here in front of an institution that represents our educators, professors, science teachers, in my opinion, people who should know, who know or should know more than anyone here in this room the impact that these warehouses will bring to our community and the environment. The decision on the sale should not only be based on economics. As we speak today, there are hundreds of families in Pocono Township, Tobyhanna and other areas, folks that are fighting every day to block these warehouses, over 10 or 12 warehouses. So please don't make our hard fight even harder. Many of these folks fighting for those warehouses have, you probably know, they have kids that attend these schools. They're all concerned about all the safety impact. They're concerned about the roads. And the other point I want to bring up here, I think many folks mentioned before, our roads aren't meant for hundreds of trucks being driven on single lanes every day. At the end of the day, who's going to pay for these roads? By you guys selling them, you're just making it easier for warehouses to come online. I mean, you guys should be the first, in my opinion, to block. Plus, you've heard your community. I mean, nobody's, everybody's opposed to this. In conclusion, our community does not oppose bringing new businesses and jobs to our Pocono region. There are many warehouses sitting nearby empty with direct access to main routes and interstate. But Core 5 is an industrial development that does not belong in residential neighborhood. So if I'm not mistaken, history will repeat itself here again. These warehouses will come, they'll operate, and when their tax breaks expire, they'll leave our neighborhood and they'll leave us with a super fund and irreversible damage to our environment. So I urge you to think first of your community when you make your sale decision. We are asking you here today to stand up with us. Don't be short-sighted. Think don't think of the short-term financial gains. Think of the long-lasting impact this will have on our community. Please sell it to our township. Thank you.
Dave Mara, M-A-R-R-A. I'm a lifelong resident of this school district. I grew up in Pocono Township and I now live in Jackson Township. I also work in this community. And I can say with absolute confidence that I don't know one person that lives here that wants Core 5 to build warehouses on PEC property or anywhere else in their proposed plan. So I think you guys actually have a pretty easy decision to make. You guys can choose money over our voice. You can choose money over our quality of life, over our environment, and you can choose money over our students. I don't think money is what makes our community and school district great. It's guys like you in this position making right decisions. And if you guys do that, we're going to have a better community for it. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joshua Knapp, and I am a Pocono Township resident and property owner. I also own in Jackson. I wanted to make a comment tonight, and then we've undoubtedly heard the numerous impact statements from the residents, from people, how this is going to negatively affect our town, your town. And I just wanted to comment tonight on the way that you started this meeting with the note that said, we cannot consider the use of where we sell the school to. We can't consider that. I respectfully disagree and ask that you reconsider that statement, because you do know the use. And history is littered. You teach history. History is littered with those that turn their back on what they know. You know what Core 5 is going to do. You know why they want it. And that alone makes it important that you consider the use.
You're here.
Hi, my name is Donna Berg. I'm from Jackson Township. I moved here 36 years ago so that my kids could have a great place to live. When we saw PEC, we were amazed that our kids could go to a school like that. We had moved up from Philadelphia. I believe you have to consider money, but I do believe you also have to consider the children. That community center, the fields around it where the kids could play sports, where they could go in and play basketball, senior citizens could go and have meetings. You know, the kids, you know yourselves, kids are involved or kids are in trouble. And so having that building there for the community to allow those kids to be involved is also something you need to consider. Money alone isn't everything. Your job is also to try and take care of our kids. My children, my grandchildren go here now. You need to take care of them. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President and the Board of Directors and the Director of the School Board. My name is Dr. Alexander Jackson. I'm a resident of Tunkhannock Township. I'm here tonight representing my family as Pocono Mountain School District taxpaying residents for nearly 10 years. First, I want to thank the board for tabling this decision from the last meeting and for offering us a larger venue to comment as residents and taxpayers. I'd like to make a very brief comments in favor of accepting Pocono Township's offer. I think I just want to personally congratulate the township for stepping up and coming here tonight and making that offer in the first place. They definitely did not have to do that. And since the last meeting over the last 30 days, they've also taken decisive action to correct their zoning ordinance, which they also did not have to do. So, I mean, that's incredible and courageous. And they're one of the only townships in the Commonwealth that have done such a thing. So I also want to congratulate the board for entertaining that offer as well. And hopefully tonight they will consider it. I believe there's unanimous support for that. I do not live in Pocono Township. As a tax-paying citizen to the school district, I am in favor of preserving a community asset as opposed to leveling the property and replacing this fine structure with a community liability. I appreciate the difficulty of this decision, but as a taxpayer of the district, I urge the board to consider the negative ramifications of a higher price because it's a reasonably assured risk of a mega warehouse and a much larger industrial complex. That one parcel is a key connectivity in a corridor, which could become one of the largest industrial complexes in the area and possibly render the whole entire area virtually uninhabitable. So if the district here denies Core 5 here tonight, they would also not be the only landowner here in Monroe County that has turned down large sums of money from a very desperate warehouse developer in order to preserve and protect the moral integrity of an entire community. Thank you for your consideration of these comments.
Hello, I'm Rose Walsh, WALSH. And this is my oxygen. You keep on with the building up of everything, you're going to see a lot more of these. Okay. I didn't have this when I came up here. I moved up here in 1987 or 86, and I've been paying school property taxes since 87. You just cashed my last check 2 weeks ago. The air quality has gone so badly downhill in the past 10 years that COVID plus air pollution equals oxygen tank. And you're going to see a lot more of them because all it takes is traffic and heat for ozone. And it's already so bad, I spent over half the summer in my house because I couldn't walk to the mailbox because of the ozone. And this is going to get worse. So please just take my child's school. 2 of my sons attended Pocono Elementary. Both my sons and my stepson graduated from Pocono Mountain plus MCTI. And we would much rather, if we get a voice, let that school go to the township. It's a good place for it. It would give them plenty of room. And it'd be nice, maybe they'll dim the lights at night. Then I can look out the front window. But you got to stop this overbuilding because you're going to kill your residents. I'm just one. These are expensive and they're no fun. They're really, really no fun. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name's Cynthia Engelmeyer.
My husband and I, we have 3 sons that went to this school. And I think 7 grandchildren. I found this article from Sierra Club, and I just wanted to read some of it. What diesel exhaust does to the human body. The pollution you don't see in diesel exhaust is more dangerous than the suit you do see. Diesel particulates matter is so small that it can easily enter the human airways, penetrate tissue, and embed the lungs. If those particulates penetrate the alveoli, the tiny sacs that take in the oxygen and release carbon dioxide and make their way into the bloodstream, they can damage the heart and other organs. More than 90% of diesel participate matter is smaller than 1 micron in diameter, or about 1/70th of the diameter of a human hair. This places in the category of a PM25 pollution or irritants that are smaller than 2.5 microns. This building is not only in back of my house, but it's also on the side of my house. It's across the street from Mr. Dulledin with the 2 handicapped boys. We will be totally surrounded by these warehouses. We live on a little 1-lane dirt road with 9 houses. And Frank's Lane is 9 houses, and they will be squished in between the warehouse and the highway. I ask you, go look at these sites. I know this is about the school, but that's part of it. If they get the school, they're going to destroy the whole neighborhood, and people are going to suffer. We will have no quality of life. Please go to these neighborhoods, drive down the roads. They're both little roads with houses, little neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak to the board tonight. My name is Lynn Kelly, and I am a homeowner and resident in Quillbah Township. And we have been making the news lately a lot with warehouses. But I want you to consider some issues, things that don't always cross your mind when you're thinking about which way to go with something like this. 2% of all the waterways across the entire state of Pennsylvania are classified as exceptional value waters. Only 2%. Out of that 2%, 80% are in the Poconos. That's Monroe, Wayne, and Pike areas. 80%. We have a golden, exceptional value and high quality streams here. And it is our responsibility to protect those waters. These large industrial concrete buildings will cause irreparable damage to our streams and our wetlands. No way around it. Their runoff will cause damage. The concrete itself next to the streams will heat up the streams. It'll cause damage to the high quality cold water fishery. It's irreparable. You can't get it back. Across the entire country, water is a very, very scarce commodity, and clean quality water is even scarcer. And we have it here. As school board members, it is your responsibility to guide our students to the future. Please teach them responsible stewardship of our environment. Put our community and our environment first over corporate profits. Thank you.
Good evening, board. My name is Krista Palucci. I am a resident of Barrett Township. And I wanted to just touch on a few topics here today. Everybody is here. Everybody really supports the township buying this property, and I understand why. The Pocono Township has done some pretty significant improvements to our community with the money that they have. And obviously, we all know that they would put it to very good use. But I understand the situation that you find yourselves in today. I understand that this is a significant amount of money over the appraisal. And I would just like to encourage you to perhaps consider using a broker, maybe try and find someone else to go after a buyer, see if we can recruit the right purchaser for this property. And I'd also like to remind everybody that the school district did receive a significant amount of money from townships about 10 years ago, specifically for the infrastructure related to this campus. And not that you owe them anything from that, but it would be nice to see the school district give something back to the townships that have sacrificed some of their budget as well. As a resident in Barrett Township, we had a few of our own buildings that went up for sale. And the purchase of those buildings had kind of bounced around from year to year, various buyers, various purchase prices. And our own Barrett Township Elementary Center did end up on the chopping block and was sold. And these buildings have become a significant eyesore. And so I think it's very important to consider who is buying these properties and to make sure that the environment that we all live in stays beautiful. We want to keep Pennsylvania beautiful and clean and enjoyable for all of us, including our children. Thank you so much.
Can I just ask the clarification question? Infrastructure, you talked about the township that they gave us. Could you tell me what that is?
This was something about 10 years ago. I know Barrett Township in particular had to give up about $400,000 towards the school district for infrastructure out of their own infrastructure budget. And it's my understanding that all of the townships had to contribute to that project.
The one in Barrett, are you talking about our school?
Barrett is just one of the townships that had to contribute funds to that. I can get you some more information, Rusty.
Yeah, okay. And then you kind of insinuate that Pocono Township gave us money through that or something different?
No, my point is that the school has received, or the school district has received funds from the township to benefit the school district, and that it would be also very nice to see the school district do something for the benefit of the township.
Okay, well, I'm not aware of those monies, but thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Beata Jesvik. I'm Pocono Township resident and taxpayer. I'm also mom of a student of the school. All over, we have beautiful signs, stating keep Pennsylvania clean and beautiful. So why we want to destroy this picture and show our kids that there is no place here to live in the same community, in the same woods, just not city, right? We don't want warehouses where those warehouses will destroy our community, will be, just like poison, right? Traffic, pollution, and people who are living around those warehouses, they will not be able to sell their houses at all. They will probably live till they die, but their kids, their grandkids, they will move out from here. Nobody's going to buy a house, and the school will lose. The district will lose a lot of students. So if you don't have a lot of students, you will not have work for teachers, right? Everything will be destroyed. And I hope that you will make a great decision. And the decision was not made already, like with buses. We had a hearing, right? People, they were asking and they were talking about leaving the buses with school, but the decision was already made. So I hope this time the decision is not made yet, and you will consider Pocono Township as a new owner. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, school board members. I'm State Representative Maureen Madden. I'm also a resident of Coolbaugh Township. The word I keep hearing over and over tonight is the word fiduciary. So I'm going to quickly read the definition of fiduciary. Involving trust, especially with regard to the relationship between a trustee and a beneficiary. The company has a fiduciary duty to shareholders. Ladies and gentlemen, you are the company and we are your shareholders. And every one of us has spoken so eloquently and passionately about this project, about our communities, about our water, about our air. And not one person has said, please don't sell this building to Pocono Township. We don't want to preserve the ball fields. We don't want to open a potential community center. We don't want to, in some small way, emulate the Mountain Center, which has been a huge success on this mountain. We've heard everyone say just the opposite. Pocono Township, since I've become involved as it will be part of my new district, I am so impressed on how family focused they are and how community focused they are. I went to the ribbon cutting of the new TLC park, in which they installed beautiful new playground equipment and cameras to make sure that playground equipment stays intact. I was very grateful and glad to be able to work with Taylor Munoz, the Pocono Township manager, and the board to secure 50% of what they need for the splash pad that they spoke about just last week. I continue to want to work with them and want to work with everyone in this community that wants to grow our community in a responsible way that serves the citizens in the best way possible. And I would argue that Core 5 and warehouses 20 feet off someone's backyard is not the best use of this property. And while it may be in Pocono Township, you all know that they're moving into Coolbaugh Township as well. And they won't stop until we are dotted from Delaware Water Gap through Tunkhannock with nothing but ugly warehouses that clog up our traffic, deteriorate our infrastructure, and just make people's lives a living hell. So I implore you to do the right thing, make your decision carefully, and remember that you are elected to serve the people in this audience and the broader Pocono Mountain School District. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Representative Madden, I didn't hear you say that at the township meeting last week when we were there to implore the township about their zoning. I didn't hear you say any of that.
I implored them, but they declared their ordinances defective. And if you've been listening.
That's because they did that, not you did not speak of that. I wish we recorded it because I love your little affair here. I like
Okay,
it.
we still have more people to hear from. Thank you, Representative Madden. Ms. Lopez, thank you. Mr. Munez.
Hey, good evening, board. Taylor Munoz, Township Manager, Ross Township resident, Pocono Township Manager, former resident of the district. I just want to reinforce just one item briefly as the board considers the township's request. And I think at some level, I think we are in agreement that the school board's decision does not have to do with the use of the property. Our focus has been on the need of the township. So, for what it's worth, I think everybody knows it's no secret. There's three choices that you really have. One is to sell to Core 5, one is to sell to Pocono Township, or a third is to keep it or to, hold it for another time. But for our purposes, we've been through, I think, 3 rounds of architectural feasibility. This conversation comes up at a time when we are in the midst of yet another round of trying to figure out what we do for our municipal facilities. And we're just looking, at what options we have. And so, again, I would just reinforce with the board that our focus is on the use of the property for township needs and community needs. And it's up to the board, obviously, to make a decision about how you want to proceed with the property. But we are addressing the use concerns. Warehouses, logistics centers, fulfillment centers, the different definitions that these speculative buildings go by. that is a land use decision that the township is actively addressing right now. So, our interest in the property has nothing to do with, really has nothing to do with preventing warehouses or enabling warehouses. It's a historic interest, and whether that the degree to which it was discussed previously is neither here nor there. We're interested today if there's an opportunity, and we welcome any discussion with the board. So thank you for hearing us tonight.
Thank you for your comment. Item 6.01 is the discussion for Pocono Elementary Center. I would just like to open the discussion with a few comments for the board. Pocono Elementary Center closed at the end of the 2012-2013 school year due to declining enrollment. It was a very hard decision to make by the board at the time, but due to the declining enrollment, it had to be done. Enrollment continues to decline to this day. Prior to the school closing, Pocono Elementary Center received an upgrade to its HVAC system and a new roof as well. All taxpayers in the district help pay for these repairs and continue to do so for the upkeep of the building. There was some discussion after the closure about MCTI using the space in the school for its programming. However, that did not work out. We hear the concerns of the community members in Pocono Township regarding new warehouse operations being built. It is important for the community as well as board members to know that if the district decides not to sell the property to Core 5, this will not prevent warehouses from going up throughout our communities. The sale is also, if we were to move forward with Core 5, the sale is contingent on them obtaining use for their warehouses. I now turn this over to the board for further discussion and comment.
I guess I'll go first. Chris Grape-Garvey, as you know, I ran for quality of life issues. I wear many hats tonight and don't have a prepared statement. I have lots of things I want to say. First, I would like to entertain, I guess when I'm done, I'd like to entertain a motion to pursue negotiations with Pocono Township about purchasing this and put off, selling it to Core 5.
Do we have a second on Chris Garvey's motion?
And I still want to say a couple of things, but I don't guess I need to.
Well, we need a do we have a second? Okay, no second.
It's amazing to me that nobody has the balls, pardon my French, to second that. I'm a parent of an 8th grader. I remember doing a color run a couple of years ago at PEC, and it was wonderful. The school was still being used for something wonderful. It was a fundraiser, I think, for one of the children who had some health issue. I represent Region 1. Pocono Mountain School District has 3 different regions. I represent the whole school district. I'm elected by Region 1, which is Pocono and Barrett and Paradise. So it's hard for me to be unbiased when those are the people who elected me, even though I represent the whole district. Where are the people from Region 2 and Region 3 who are in favor? Like you're talking about fiduciary. Where are all the people saying, sell this, we want our taxes to go down, we need the money? Where the hell are the people from the other regions who want Core 5 to buy this? I was sitting in that audience. I ran partially because I was not in favor of outsourcing buses. I sat in that audience and I wished one of the board members, one of the school board members would have listened. It was about community. It was about loving our bus drivers. I had to say these things. Nobody had the empathy on the board. I mean, it's not just about money. If one person had listened, we cared about the bus drivers. We didn't care about the money. We were willing to pay the extra taxes. It's the same thing now. Okay, yes, your taxes might go up,
So I hope everyone understands that taxes could go up, but it's quality, it's more than money, it's quality of life. I worked at the Mountain Center. I had some people bitch, well, why did you sell it for a non? I have to speak my mind. I owe fiduciary responsibilities to the constituency.
Keep speaking. Keep speaking. I'm just surprised of your language,
I worked
Chris.
well, this is very emotional. I've lived in Pocono Township for 34 years. And I've seen my daughter graduate. My other one's an 8th grader. I used to work at that United Way building on Warner Road. It's a shame that was not kept the way it was. I worked at the Mountain Center. People complained, why are you selling the Mountain Center you're selling it to become a nonprofit. People complain you're not getting taxes, but if you go to the Mountain Center, you will see all the good it is doing. And we have a chance to do the right thing. I can't believe none of you can second my motion. We have the chance to do the right thing. It's not all about money. Of course, you might have to be prepared. The people who don't want it sold, taxes might go up. I know it's the fiduciary responsibility, but it's the responsibility for showing our children what's right, what we believe in, the quality of life while we're here. Like Dr. Sweeney, she was principal at that school. I mean,
we all second.
I go on record that I'm against selling this to Core 5. And I do have to say, thank you. Maybe I'll get reelected. And I do have to say though, but shame, thank you, but I applaud all of you. A shame on Pocono Township for getting in this situation. And I mean, and we all go through things. I was at a hearing last night. I have a shooting range that I have to worry about near my house. We stand up for what we believe in. I just can't.
Thank you, Ms. Garvey.
I would really love someone to second my motion.
You were at the county meeting, was that fake?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we curtail this to the next October 5th meeting, please.
Do we have a second for Mr. Byrd's motion to move this to the next October 5th meeting?
I still have some comments.
Oh,
before
sorry.
we,
Well,
pardon my French, by the way, for using words I
hold
shouldn't
on.
have.
Mr. Johnson still had some comments.
There's a motion on the floor. I'd still like to have an opportunity to comments, no matter how.
So
that
let's
goes.
do we have a second and then we can bring it to discussion? Mr. Byrd made a motion to move it to the October 5th
Got a motion to table.
table, yes. And do we have a second to do that?
First of all, there's no motion on the board tonight to vote on anything. So
Correct.
there's
There is
really no,
There's no vote tonight.
he doesn't need to make a motion to table. We're not voting
That's true. We're
unless
not
somebody
voting on
makes a
that.
motion to vote.
So Mr. Johnson,
So it's a
discussing that.
discussion point at this point.
so no motions are needed. Mr.
So-
Johnson.
Some observations. I'm up here making, a lot of notes. For the record, I'm born and raised Readers, Jackson Township. I actually lived in there for the last 60 years. And I remember when Roadway wasn't there. I remember when across the street, Marshall's Machinery wasn't there. I remember all that. My kids went to PEC. My kids played baseball on those fields at PEC. I'm a sportsman. I get it. Quite honestly, I'm a little perturbed that I'm in a conversation about this as a school board director when in fact it's a township issue. Okay. If we don't want these type things in our township, now I know by law we have to zone so much industrial area. If we truly don't want them in our townships, let's put them where they're not attractive in the townships in the back of the thing. Why are we having this discussion after the fact where we're at today? I'm not having a conversation. I'm making some comments here. I'm not sure why we didn't have these conversations a while ago if we truly don't want these warehouse in here. Now, I've also sat on this board for the last 11 years. I do never remember the township ever coming in front of us and say they were interested in buying this project. I actually asked the superintendent and the business manager who's been here equally as long, and a little longer, and nobody remembers any of those conversations. And we're right. We did sell one of our schools to the Mountain Center, and I would have to agree, and I'm saying this over the mic to Representative Madden, I agree with her. It was a wonderful thing that we did. What happened there was, and I'm not playing politics whatsoever, but Senator Scavello got involved in that, and they ended up matching the offer that we had on the school. How the funding happened, I don't know. But they actually matched the offer that we had for the school district up there. And it turned out wonderful for all the residents involved, including the school district. You know, we hear about infrastructure, and we hear about environmental, and we hear about zoning. We don't control these things, and I'm not sure why we're having this discussion now. The township should have had these discussions a while ago. If we truly don't want these in the township, which I believe the township truly doesn't, then we should have reacted to this. It's no surprise, go down 33, what has happened over the last 5 years. So we needed to be proactive at our township levels so we're not having this discussion. And, quite honestly, I don't want to see the entire complex a warehouse system. I didn't want to see roadway. I didn't want to see, in Walmart, but we couldn't control those things because of zoning. But I'm also sitting in a seat here that I represent all the taxpayers within the Pocono Mountain School District. So it puts me in a very peculiar dilemma here. I live on that road. I'm 2 miles away. I'm going to deal with that every day. I know that. And we talk about infrastructure, and I'll just throw this out I don't want to have a discussion with Representative Madden, but I do remember years and years and years ago when Santorum was U.S. Senator, there was money put away in Harrisburg to upgrade the infrastructure for roadway. I've heard that many times. I don't know if that's actually accurate. If you can look into that, I'd appreciate that. But we're in a point here that we really, if we had some foresight from the town, like we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be here. And I'm in a dilemma here that I'm representing the school district. I live here. I'm going to deal with it, but I can't make a decision as a representative of the school board because of what I may have to be behind a truck. Like I just don't know. And I've always been, open to hear townships talk. And, I know we've had some issues between, I think, the Pocono Township and Pocono Mountain School District on a piece of property from 2005 that they didn't think they should have paid the school district on. I'm not saying I disagree with that, but if we truly wanted to, have these negotiations about the school, we sat in front of you 2 years about tap-in fees of $212,000 after we reverted $9.1 million to your sewer system. We should have had those conversations then when we were in that room, but we didn't. But now we're going to have them in public. But no, I'm not.
Mr. Johnson's not done, and we already had public comments.
That's kind of what I have to say. I have the township, some of the township representatives, cell phones in my cell phone. I know them. I know Taylor. I know Attorney DeVito. So obviously it's a board decision, but I'm really not appreciatory of being in this position. Thank you.
I agree, Mr. Johnson. Any other comment from the board?
Yes, I do. And Rusty, I never even thought that I would even be in agreement with you at all about what you're saying, ever. I'm thinking so like, what? I cannot believe this. honestly, I don't know, why haven't you even had that conversation like with the township? I mean, township all of a sudden comes around and says their stuff is defective. I mean, honestly, I didn't see any of you really holding them accountable that night. There was very few. There was like, no, I'm sorry. There was like 10, like 1, 2, 3, yeah, like 10 people that had come up to speak about it. I was there myself defending your township, and I'm in Coolbach Township because I feel that absolutely it's wrong. Your zonings are wrong. They know it's wrong. And I think that you should not let them off the hook. I believe November's coming. There's going to be voting going on. You should replace your supervisors. You should pay attention to their zoning, that they're redoing them right now. They have a certain amount of time to redo them. I believe it's 180 days. So these 180 days are very important for your township and for you to go and hold your township accountable for what they're doing, because what's the problem is the zoning. That's the problem. So hold them accountable. As you've come here today, hold them accountable. We have done it in Coolbach Township. I live in Coolbach Township. They've done that to us. I have blasting happening where there's small children, their newborns, pregnant families that are thriving. And on this little street where we have cars, our school buses going by, they're blasting. Okay, it's wrong. And what we've done, we replaced our supervisors, and we're going to continue to replace them in Coolbach Township. Now, I urge you to do that. Replace your supervisors. Hear me when I tell you, go over there. They have 180 days. You make sure you hold them accountable. Change those zoning laws. Okay. And when I get all upset about Maureen Madden and we had Lynn Kelly, she's I voted for her to be on my township. Okay. She comes here talking about, Lynn, you come here talking about, how the waterways are important and everything. Well, honestly, I didn't hear you in our township meeting talk about, oh, we should change these zoning laws, come up and be able to talk. That's why I replaced most of our township, What I'm talking about is our zoning laws. And I didn't hear Maureen Madden also encourage you to replace those supervisors.
One person at a time. And what Ms. Lopez, I believe, is saying is she too is against warehouses coming into our neighborhood.
So my next thing is
second garbage. We don't need a motion. This is not even a voting item. It is simply a discussion item. That's it. There does not have to be a motion to do anything. It's just a discussion, okay? So we don't need to second Garvey. We don't need to second Ronnie. We're just discussing it. Ms. Lopez, continue to discuss.
Thank you. So I urge you as a person of the community that you stay on top of your township. 3 of them are here tonight, just as he has. I'm sorry, I'm actually praising you, Rusty. Just as he has their telephone numbers, you make sure you get their telephone numbers too. I mean, if he could have it and he's part of your township, shouldn't you have it too? And I know I'm giving you a great compliment, Rusty. I mean, you're not blushing, right? Okay, don't do that. I applaud you for doing that, for being able to be on top of your township supervisors, to have their numbers. And I'm sorry that before you weren't able to work this ruling out. I hope they do work it out. I'm very proud of the township for being able to say that their zoning laws are defective. Now, I just implore them at that night, which you weren't there, Rusty. I was there at the township meeting, and they're doing the right thing right now to save face, because they do have to be reelected in November. Now, I'm telling you the straight truth, okay? They have to be reelected in November, so they're trying to save face. All right. So I hope that you can see their true face, and I implore you guys to also do the right thing too, because in my township in Coolbach, November's coming, and whoever's up in my township, I will vote to replace them, because what they've done to my community. Okay. They blasting over here. They're putting up all these warehouses here when they shouldn't be. There's plenty in our township for that. So that's my opinion. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez.
Thank you for coming out here tonight. I really do appreciate all the time that you have given to us.
But Anna, you're fine with
thank you,
this
Ms.
warehouse
Lopez.
going in.
Thank you.
You're fine with this warehouse going in Pocono.
Okay,
No, I'm
hold
not
hold
fighting.
on.
I've already expressed what
She
I felt
ex-
about it.
Maybe you could have
didn't
seconded my
understand what I said?
motion. Yeah, I do.
You
but-
didn't understand what I said.
Miss Garvey, this is a discussion item. We don't need any motion to discuss it. It was simply a discussion item. There was no vote on the table. Nobody, that you didn't have to motion and Ronnie didn't have to motion. It's a discussion item to be discussed, and that's what we're doing. Mr. Reinheimer, you had some comments?
Yes, I, like Mr. Johnson, have lived here my whole life. I'm in Pocono Pines, and I admire all of your passion. I would be fighting like hell if this was going in my backyard. I am. Thank you for your fight, and I, like Mr. Johnson, we are put in a position, you all elected us to be here, and you all sit, I heard a couple comments about you need to have the whatever to stand up here. It does take a lot to stand up here. It also, we're dealing with an issue. I agree with Mr. Johnson and I agree with Mrs. Lopez on the township has your ordinances. If those ordinances were not put in place, we would not even be discussing warehouses right now. Thank you. I hear all of your thoughts. I personally do not want a warehouse in my backyard. I believe the ordinances need to be looked at in all of our townships to make sure our areas are not getting built up like this. So thank you for all your comments, and I will think of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reinheimer. Any more comments or discussion from the board? All right, with that said, we are moving on for item 6.02 PSBA, and I think this is a voting item, Mr. Colaza.
Yes, it's that time of year with the PSBA slate of candidates. You'll see the leadership positions for election, the president-elect, vice president, section E2 that is within our county and our school district. For the Bethlehem area school district would be the representative there, and PSBA insurance trustees, term ends December 31st, 2025, 2 candidates. All of these would just be a vote to approve everyone listed. There is no opponents running against one another on it. This would just be a vote to approve the names as listed for president-elect, vice president, section E2 advisor, 2-year term, PSBA insurance trustees, 2 individuals with the trustee term ends December 31st of 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Colaza. Any other items or discussion, possible resolutions? Nothing. Items requiring board action with addendums, items 8.01, business and financial affairs. Mr. Colaza?
This would be for board vote and approval.
Okay, do I get a motion for item 8.01, business and financial affairs with
Motion.
addendum?
Motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 8.02 through items 9.05 with addendums. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'm a motion on yes, just abstaining from the minutes.
Okay. Mr. Johnson abstained from the minutes. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Item 10, any other items or concerns from board members? 10.02, cyber and charter school enrollments. Just information. Okay, additional reports. Recognition of visitors on non-agenda items. Ms. Frable, do we have any emails?
Eric Waldstein, Pocono Township. I am writing to you this evening to put my frustration and anger into public record. There have been numerous occasions in the past where instances of bullying and harassment have been brought to the attention of this district only to watch the district, whose vision is to create a culture of achievement, improve student performance, maintain school safety, and promote strong character, fail them. You have failed to prepare these students for tomorrow's challenges and opportunities. You have only added more frustration, mental anguish, and distress. With knowledge of a number of other incidents going on presently, I am appalled at what I am hearing and seeing. I ask Pocono Mountain School District administrators, what are you doing to keep our kids safe? Why do you continue to turn a blind eye? Why are you harboring a culture of harassment, bullying, and mental anguish? I have stood with you in the past, Dr. Robinson, and shared your frustrations, most recently during the NAACP district-wide roundtable on bullying, where I was, I believe, the only parent in the audience. Today, I ask for your action. The programs currently used at PMSD are simply not working. There have been too many instances to chalk it up to a single bad apple. Our children deserve better. What I'm asking for is a change in the district's policies, change in the district's handling of harassment and bullying, change in how it's reported, change in how help remediation to both parties is given and received, change in behaviors and acknowledgement. I think we all can agree that our children deserve this and more. I would like the community at large to be made aware of what, if any, changes you and your team will make and how it will be facilitated. I would like to be able to see, touch, and feel those changes, and would love to be able to say that parents cried out for action and the district acknowledged and responded in kind. If this is met with a head in the sand, actionless response, please understand that I'm willing to take the matters into my own hands and use whatever resources are at my disposal. This includes filing a mandatory report with the PA Department of Education, using an outside organization to help bring awareness and change such as public justice, file a complaint against the district with the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights, contact the local press. Please do not take this as a threat, as it is not intended that way. I am simply advocating, as I have always done, for my child, as well as all children that are within your buildings and lives you greatly impact. I appreciate you reading this, and I look forward to change. I thought a long time about, after we received this email, about how to respond to this, because I've been with the district for 15 years. And I have to say, over those 15 years, I've seen our administrative team work very hard on any to investigate any bullying complaint and any allegations of harassment. When there is an investigation and the investigation is complete, consequences are applied to the situation and appropriate actions are taken. What happens is many times parents think nothing is being done because they do not have a right to know the actions taken with other people's children. So it's a very frustrating situation. Mr. Wallstein, I personally checked with the building principals to make sure to see if maybe you had filed a complaint or had a concern with your own child. And I'm unaware of any of those complaints taking place. Our teams follow up with students periodically after there is a bullying or harassment complaint investigation to make sure that things are still going well and that there isn't a repeat of earlier behavior and conflict. But bullying isn't just a school problem. Oftentimes bullying behavior takes place in the communities and over social media, where the courts have been quite clear that school districts cannot reach out into those communities and apply consequences and discipline to students for their behaviors that take place outside of school grounds and do not take place at school-sponsored events. It's very frustrating to hear statements that say that we're just adding more frustration, mental anguish, and distress to students because we work so hard every day to try to provide the supports that students need. We never turn a blind eye to any reported concern presented to the buildings. And I can say that with assurances because I am usually involved in the discussions and see the actions that are taking place. It's unfortunate that bullying happens. We would like to see that there is never any bullying in the district, but we don't have just one program dealing with bullying. Bullying prevention efforts are threaded throughout our curriculum and throughout all of the initiatives we have with students. Does bullying happen in Pocono Mountain School District schools just as it happens in other schools? Absolutely. Do we bury our head in the sand and think it doesn't occur? No, I think that's an unfair accusation. Certainly,
we have a team that will look at additional bullying prevention efforts as we move forward. But some of the language used is really just very off-putting. And I understand bullying is a very emotional issue, but the more we can work together and look at the things that we are providing and we are doing and seeing if we can supplement those things, I think that's a helpful approach. To say we're completely failing when it comes to bullying, the recent PAYS data that we have, the preliminary PAYS data, it doesn't substantiate that. In fact, most of the PAYS data that we received, and that's a Pennsylvania youth survey that our 6th, 8th, 10th, and 12th graders completed last year. In most of the grades, the results show that in our the reported incidents of bullying of students who felt they were bullied in the last year, it actually declined from the 2019 and 2017 surveys significantly in some of those grades. Where we have a real concern is with the cyberbullying, because we're showing that more 6th and 10th graders are reporting that they're experiencing cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is one of our toughest issues to deal with because it takes place many times outside of our schools. And it's very hard at times to even figure out who is doing the bullying. So we certainly need a whole community approach to dealing with that. I'm sorry I was so long-winded here with this, but it's a very emotional issue for all of us because we do work so hard at it, and we know that some students are suffering at the hands of others. But to say that we're failing everyone and we're not doing anything that's worthwhile, I just don't think that's a fair analysis of what's going on in the district. Dr. Robinson, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, but I think, Wendy, in future reports and instructional reports, we've certainly done this in the past, but I know Dr. DeLay had to leave, but we can continue to highlight all of the programs and all the things that we do within our curriculum. I think the most frustrating part as a superintendent, I'm sitting here listening to this comment, but yet Mr. Wallstein has not contacted my office, not contacted my team. I do not have any reports at all in regard to this situation or these comments. So it is a bit frustrating. We take pride, myself as a superintendent, my building administrator, and my team. If something is reported to us, we act on it. We find out what's going on and we take the appropriate action. So we do have a process in place, but we have to be trusted to be able to be part of the process. I can't entertain myself in social media conversations like an ambulance chaser. I have to know if something is wrong. I'm not going to social media for the answer. If someone needs to know the answer about the Pocono Mountain School District, they need to contact the superintendent or contact someone as part of my team. That's where the true answer is going to come from. And that's where we're going to be able to solve the problems or any concerns that our parents and our community would have. But to date, Mr. Wallstein has not contacted my office, nor do I have a report. I've checked in the schools that his children are in. There's no reports there as well. So I need to know exactly what the issue is so that we can entertain how we can solve it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next email was from Carolyn Barish Cresco. Allow me to preface by saying that this is not a negative reflection on the current head football coach, Mr. Burns, but an overall reflection on the board's recent decisions to hire a few assistant coaches to the staff. The board recently passed a motion to hire individuals that just graduated from Pocono Mountain East recently that played for the current regime. Can any board member tell me what makes these individuals qualified to coach our children who have aspirations to play the game of football? They literally played for the team last year and are now back in the same locker room with much more authority for no reason. Did the board even look at the students' past or how they were as teammates on or off the field? Let me put it this way. If a student were to graduate from PMSD, would you hire them to become a teacher right away? The answer is no. They need to go get qualifications and show that they know what they are doing. Just because one played the role of a student within the classroom does not mean that they know how to be a teacher. In addition, how could one make sound decisions when they are friends with others on the team? Do you think that a certain level of bias in decisions that impacts kids and family members isn't playing a factor? The same applies to football and all athletics, but that might not be known now due to the careless and illogical decision made a couple of years ago regarding the former director of athletic operations, Mr. Robert Malowski, that changed this district around
but that's for another time. Mr. Fraley, the board, and others need to be held accountable for these decisions and hiring processes. These are not only hurting the culture within the locker room, but also negatively impacting the future of the team and players' goals. With that being said, I would like to call for the resignation of Anthony Rodriguez. Thank you. Ms. Burris, would you please respond to this email?
Good evening. We have hiring processes in place for all athletic coaching positions, and we do not discriminate based on age.
The last email is from Trey Hoyampa, Jackson Township. In June, I asked the board some questions and would like to revisit those comments. Here is a copy and paste of what I'd like to hear more about. The movie Bullying is on Netflix this month. I encourage everyone to watch it as it addresses the difficulties of managing bullying and victims and parents, guardians' deep concern. It's my hope that the district can find a way to have students at the appropriate age, of course, watch this movie as part of their school experience. The issues highlighted in bullying can be used as a solid platform in addressing abusive behaviors whenever a student is in the district's care. It's not enough to say that PMSD doesn't have a bullying problem, so whatever we're doing must be working. The parents of peer abused students believe differently, and the truth is that any one student being bullied is in fact a problem. With that, I respectfully ask the board to wholeheartedly work with parents to create a system that serves as a real solution to bullying. The first step would be to arrange an advisory board group of parents, administrators, and those who work in our district. I have no doubt that such a group can change the lives of an innumerable amount of students, and every one of them is worth it. Thank you for your consideration and time. It is very much appreciated. Ms. Toyampa, thank you for your comments and suggestions. Excuse me, that's all the emails I received.
Thank you, Ms. Frable. Anybody in the audience for public comment, non-agenda items only? Please state your name, place of residency.
Yes, Dr. Alexander Jackson, place of residencies, Tunkhannock Township, 1355 Matthews Drive. With the board's permission, I'd just like to note a couple of things. First of all, I believe back in 2005, there was obviously a much different set of supervisors and a much different, the staff was different in Pocono Township. I also want to note that municipal elections aren't until next November. I want to applaud Chris Grape-Garvey for having the courage to make the motion, and I hope at the next meeting we'll have a second and a majority vote. Yes, the supervisors do need to be held accountable, but I feel like they really are doing the right thing here. I'd like to comment that I feel like here we need to try to help them help the residents of the Commonwealth. And I'd also like to hear the other 5 board members' opinion on this matter. We only heard from a couple of you, and I'd like to hear everybody's opinion. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carmen Churion, Churion. I have a comment about the AP program. I wanted to let you know that your program is very successful in the school. My kids graduated here, both of them, and the most recent alumni that you have that was super successful with your program are the Polymeni brothers. They are class of 2019. They graduated in 3 years instead of 4 because of the AP program. I'm not sure if you knew about that. And my son is going to graduate a semester early, and the Gerenza's daughter was able to do 2 majors in the 4 years with the APs that they took here. So please keep supporting the program and encouraging the kids to follow. Because I know sometimes you don't know anything about all the students that went through here, but there are many that are very successful young adults out there because of the program of the district. On the other hand, I am Jackson Township and I live up Staden Road. I don't have anything else to add to everything that has been said about the warehouse problem. I want to thank Mrs. Gravy for your support because you really hear us and what we're going through. Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful comments.
Thank you. My name is Lynn Kelly, and I am a Coolbaugh Township Supervisor. And I would like to give you a little bit of a fact check, a little bit of corrections of information. One of them has already been corrected regarding municipal elections. The other one, Mr. Johnson, you were questioning taxes and the money from municipalities. If you remember multiple years ago, and I don't know when, the school district did not take their portion of the half of 1% of the earned income tax. And at one point in time, they decided to start taking that. And that's when the municipalities gave up funding that they had previously had. On zoning issues, which as school board members, you do not know the zoning issues, that is absolutely understandable. And your issue is not with the zoning, but I do know zoning issues. And I would like to give you, again, some factual information, some information to be aware of. It was mentioned tonight that any sale that you would enter into would be pending permitting process. We have multiple warehouses in Coolbaugh Township, and on an average, it takes 3 years before they buy the land, because that's how long the permitting process takes, just so you're aware of that. Additionally, on the zoning and the townships not doing their job and being ready for this is happening across the entire country. And what has happened is land developers, the investment real estate companies are going after large pieces of property, and they are doing so by leveraging outdated ordinances. And they are using one particular factor everywhere across the country. And that factor is the word warehouse. Warehouses of 30 years ago, when our ordinances were put together, are not the massive industrial building warehouses of today. Originally, when Walmart came into Coolbaugh Township and it was our first warehouse, it was called a DC, and they still call themselves a DC. These buildings, distribution centers, fulfillment centers, truck terminals, they are in our ordinance as just that. But we also have the word warehouse in our ordinance, and our commercial districts, not our industrial district, allowed warehouses, the smaller version, the ones that don't run 24/7, the ones that don't have 700 truck traffic a day, in those commercial zones, which were the buffer zones between the residential area. We in Coolbaugh Township, when we got assaulted on this and did not realize what was happening, that they were leveraging the word warehouse, we then moved forward to change our ordinances. Ms. Lopez mentioned some of that, but her knowledge is not very good or accurate, because I have never missed a Coolbaugh Township board meeting. In 16 years, I have missed one work session, and I have not seen her at any of our meetings within the last year with all the warehouses and concerns we have going on. Most of the warehouses in Coolbaugh Township are in the industrial zone. That's where they belong.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
But thank you for your comment.
And thanks for the clarification, because the 400,000 we got for that one school up there from Barrett is what had me confused, but I do remember the earned income tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just remind everyone, this is non-agenda items, okay? Thanks. Go on.
Okay. I also was at the zoning meeting Ms. Lopez mentioned, and there was encouragement from Ms. Pyzik and Ms. Lopez for the township, and that they would like to hear the offer from the township. They actually encouraged the township members more so to purchase the school than anything. And it feels tonight like we are caught between two people that are arguing who's wrong. And the people that are going to suffer are the very people in this room in the community
as you two throw each other and say, well, it's that one's fault and we don't have responsibility and they don't have responsibility. Let me tell you something. Our group is following our commissioners, our planning committee. We're going to every meeting. We are doing our own investigations. We have lawyers. They are not going to get away with anything. Anything. But I also would like to say that on that end, that you have to look beyond who's at fault, because you cannot throw us under the bus because you think it was their responsibility. Because you know what, we're looking at it that it's all our responsibility. It's negligence on our part that we trusted people to have our back and to watch out. We didn't know we had to babysit people in the positions that they were in. Now we realize that, and we're doing that. We are keeping track of everything now. But I still feel that we should not be the ones to suffer because the errors that were made. I do not believe that, because the people that, the stories, the hardships, and people that are going to lose everything, the biggest investment that they made is their home, and they're going to lose it. Their property will be worth nothing, nothing at all. 20 feet from a warehouse, and you expect somebody to live peacefully and let you live peacefully? This is not the way that this should end. This is not the way that this should end. I'm telling you, this is beyond anything that I could even imagine. I don't care whose fault it was. Let's correct it, let's fix it, and let's move on as a community. Let's heal and become better. Let's become better by this. Thank you. Thank you. And as I said at the township meeting, when it was announced that Pocono Township was interested, as I said at the meeting, the board looks forward to reviewing their offer. As of now, we don't have any offers, but we do look forward to reviewing Pocono Township's offer. And nobody second guard. Well, and I'm going to say this for the 5th time. This was not a voting item. It was on the agenda for discussion, so we can discuss it publicly. This was not a voting item. So motions can be flying all over the table, but we didn't need a motion. It was a discussion item. We look forward to receiving an offer from Pocono Township and anybody else that wants to put in an offer. But I do have a question. If Pocono Township purchases the building, they're tax exempt? Okay. So any nonprofit, okay. But yeah, so we do look forward to receiving your offer. Like we said at Pocono Township, again, this is non-agenda items only. We heard all your concerns. We hear you. That's why it's discussion. So please, non-agenda items only, okay? Not agenda. Go on.
I have to say, Madam President, and I'm learning. I'm a new board member. I did make a motion because I wanted to see if we could at least head in that direction and expedite maybe the process. So if I was wrong in making a motion, my apologies, but
No, you're fine making a motion.
I'm very passionate about the residents I serve, the good of the district, and what's best for everyone, whether it's getting more money or trying to be responsible and creative with money in other ways. So again, I'm learning. I thought I was doing the right thing.
Ms. Garvey, we're all passionate about all of our taxpayers, every single one of them in every single district. So no, so you're fine with the motion. We get it. All good. Okay, non-agenda items only.
Hi, my name is Alina Braverman. I live in Jackson Township, and a lot of the things I wanted to say was already said by Lisa and others. I kind of wanted to just say and add to it a little bit. We are absolutely holding our township accountable. You may remember my husband, he was speaking at the meetings. I was not, but he was, and he's the one who brings up all of the zoning ordinances every single time. He is the one who reminds the township the laws they're supposed to be adhering to. And this is one of the things that we've been doing. But I also wanted to kind of point out that we paid our school taxes last week. The check just cleared a couple of days ago, and they've been getting higher, and that's fine. Even though I don't have children, we don't plan on having children, I am very fine with paying school taxes, and I'm very fine with those school taxes going up because children are part of our community and they're future of our community. And so this community needs that future to be insured and to be bright. The problem is that if we entertain the offers from the companies who do not care about our future or our children's future, our taxes are also the income that you're going to be getting from our taxes are going to go down just because those taxes are calculated off our property values. Our property values go down. No matter how much we care about the community, there's only so much we're going to be paying. There's only so much we're going to be able to pay. So consider that as a future kind of consideration when you make your decisions, that the money you get right now might not add up to the money you're going to lose in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh Knapp, Pocono. I'm trying to phrase this in a way that won't upset you, but at the same time, let you understand. There was a push-off before where you were trying to blame, or members were trying to blame the township. We've already explained to you they're under a microscope. Everybody is under a microscope. But understand your role today in this. And I'm not quite clear on why you couldn't have passed a motion, seconded a motion. You have that freedom to do that. If Core 5 were a porn shop, I can guarantee I wouldn't be here and this wouldn't be in this auditorium. But it's not. And there's a lot of money at stake, and I get that. But you guys own the chess piece that is key to the entire game. Without that school, they're very likely they can't proceed or proceed as planned right now.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, but you always.
So you guys need to understand that. Excuse me, I'm talking.
Agenda item.
Ms. Lopez?
Yes, this isn't a non-agenda item, and
I'm sorry that upsets you, but you sat here and you used the podium. You used the podium, Ms. Lopez, to point out the deficiencies of the Pocono Township. All right? You said, vote them out. When is your term up? When is your term up?
When my term up, I represent my Cool.
I don't want to get this into a.
And my township loves me and they understand me.
Ms. Lopez, it's
you please me every time is.
I know,
I'm
it's
not
fine.
allowed to speak at all about anything, and you're letting everyone do what. I mean, next meeting, I'm taking 3 minutes.
He is going to finish his comment, and I will take two more non-agenda items that are turning into agenda items. Two more out of a courtesy,
You know
But I'm not having this bickering back and forth.
Right.
So finish your statement. I think
it's understood. You guys have the chess piece. You have an essential part here. We have a lot of opportunity. There's ways of making money over the long term, even selling to a township. It's in your hands.
Thank you so much for your comment.
Okay.
Two more, that's it. Two more non-agenda items on this.
What I have to say is real short.
Ms. Lopez, it's fine.
Come on, act professional, please. What I have to say.
Can you state your name and township, please?
My name is Cynthia Engelmeyer. What I have to say is I have the zoning book, okay? Warehouses are only allowed in industrial areas. These places are not industrial areas. And I don't know how it got screwed up in the township, but like Lisa said, we are watching, and we're watching everybody. That includes you guys and our township. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Last one for non-agenda items. That seems to be an agenda item.
Carrie Van Britson Martin, Chestnut Hill Township, and thank you for your grace. I am here at the behest of thousands of residents. I am generally speaking on all issues that come before you. I raised 10 children. I have generations here from the 1700s. I am afraid of nothing. I applaud Chris's courage and all of your courage even to show up here tonight. Ethics is really important in anything that comes before you. Please don't kick the can down the road. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. You can make a difference now going forward. And you're not a college. This goes for all school districts. You are not a college. You are not a psychiatric facility. You are not a food pantry. There's social agencies for this. It is not the school district's job to take on duties that belong to parents. And I'd like to know what percentage of the college educated kids that are getting college points here are actually staying in this area after they graduate. The ones in my neighborhood, they're selling their house and they're moving. You have an opportunity. Ethics are going to be held to a high standard. Sharpen your pencils on your budgets. Define your role as a school district. My heart breaks for people. It does. But parents have these kids. They're going to have to raise them. It cost me my marriage when I raised Tim and when I homeschooled him. But you know what? If you're a parent, you take responsibility. You don't expect the school district to fix it for you. Once again, thank you, everybody.
I'm sorry, I needed your name and township. I didn't catch it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Carrie?
And township?
Chestnut Hill.
Chestnut Hill. Okay, thank you so much.
Mrs. Pyzik, motion to adjourn.
Now, we're going to listen and we're going to give the courtesy to one more of our community members and then we will adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Aneta Barudi, Tannersville. The asking price for Warren parcel was, I believe, 500,000 and Core 5 pay 5 million. So with people like that, what chance we have? If we start selling, we have no chance. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.